Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. In this episode we're going to tackle everything to do with electricity, except for installing the solar panels. We're going to save that for another episode. So in this episode we're going to install our inverter, we're going to install some ceiling pot lights, we're going to install a power bar, we're going to install a colorful LED strip, and then lastly another string of LEDs on a copper wire. These are the same lights that we had in the minivan, we just took them out and we're going to use them again in this van. The first thing we're going to do actually is just connect our two batteries in parallel because we want to maintain 12 volts going to all of our appliances. So we're going to connect our negatives together and then our positives together. And now we're going to be installing our inverter all the way down here under the bed. It's a little bit tricky to get at, but we think it's the best spot in the van for it. It's a little bit more hidden here, and we can just have a couple of extension cords coming off the 3-prong 110 volt outlets there. We're just going to plug in these string lights to see if they work. And yeah, looks good.
So we drilled a hole in the back of where the fridge is gonna be, so we can pass the wire behind the kitchen and get it to the battery.
So now we can connect our three main appliances, I guess, to the battery. We have one of them is our water pump. The other one is our voltage regulator, and that is what's powering our diesel heater and what will also power our fan when we eventually install that. And then the third one is our fridge. So we'll just connect all three of them at the same time here. Pump works well.
It works. And the diesel heater works as well.
Now we're going to install some pot lights in the ceiling. We're thinking of putting 2 above the kitchen. We're going to eventually build a table that drops down on this wall over here, so we'll put another pot light up here. The kind we got is this one here. They look like this out of the box. So we're going to attempt to install these according to the instructions that they gave. It's pretty minimal instructions. Apparently you just drill a hole and shove it in. But we'll see if it's that simple in the end. There we go.
Get it. And a little bit more. There you go.
There we go. Oh, where are you going, bud? There we go. We'll show you guys how we decided to connect the lights to the battery. It wasn't just an easy direct connection. So from the wires of the lights, we actually put both of them together into one of these connections. So both negatives into the negative, both positives into the positive. That way it's easy to just disconnect both of them if we need to like fix up something in the wiring. We could just go like that. And then from there we went into a little switch. We're going to be installing this switch on our wall right here. Of course the switch can easily turn the lights off and on, which is nice. We had to use these little terminus connections to actually connect the wire into the switch. We basically cut the red wire in half and then send both of them through the switch like that. And then we just connect those wires directly to the battery using these ring terminals. Our third light is going to go right around here. That's because we're going to have a little table that comes out here. It's going to be our table for eating and editing and that kind of stuff. So we're going to put a light here, and then we're going to try and get the wires across to the other side there. We'll probably use a clothes hanger to string it behind and then pull the wire through. So we're going to wire up this light exactly the same as we did those two, but just on a different circuit. That way we can control it on-off independently from the other ones. So we've installed our two switches here and they work perfectly. Our next step is going to be to tidy up the wires because obviously we don't want them hanging down like this. Our plan is to put something a little bit decorative right here, and what we're going to be able to do is we're going to be able to pass the wires kind of down behind the structure of it on this side. That way the wires will be nice and tidy. We decided to add a little bit of color and decor to our van right now. We just made a nice little design with some colorful rope. Now we're going to be installing this string light, which is the same one I had in the minivan. We're going to try out a couple different designs with the string lights. We're not sure exactly how we want to incorporate it into this yet, but we'll give it a try and hopefully it looks good. So we put a bit of the string lights kind of framing our little rope thing, but we still have a lot of length left. So we're thinking of just using the rest to follow the lines between our wood panels on the wall here. We think it'll look pretty cute. So we have this LED strip that we've been wanting to install in the van. We brainstormed a whole bunch of different ways to do it, and we think we found a really cool way. It involves using this opaque acrylic sheet. It came in a bigger sheet and we sliced it into little strips like this. Then we take those strips, we kind of put them in the corner on kind of like a 45-degree angle, and then on both the bottom and the top we put this little molding to kind of hold it in place, and then behind that we put the LED strip, and it looks like this without the lights on. But if we turn the lights on, so we think it looks really good like this. The opaque acrylic really softens out the LEDs as opposed to them being kind of harsh like this. They're a little bit too bright, so it kind of dims them, it fades them out, and we really like the look of them. We just did one small wall here without filming it because we weren't sure what we were doing or if it was going to work. But now that we know how to do it and we know that it looks good, then we'll show you guys how we install the rest of it on the other side of the van. So the way we install this is that we take a strip of our acrylic cover here, we place it until it's on a nice angle. We're going to put this molding along the bottom just to cover the bottom edge. We're just going to hammer it in until the end of the acrylic strip. That way we can play with the other end of it as we put the other strips in. Next, we put the top molding on just to cover the top edge of the acrylic, and then we hammer it in place. Then we just test our LEDs to make sure that they're nice and centered, they're not blocked by any of our trim. Looks good. And then we just continue that process all the way along. So thank you everyone for watching that episode. It's always fun playing with electricity, so we had a blast putting in all our lights and connecting everything together. We really liked how all of our lights turned out. So if you have any questions about what we did or any of the material that we used, please don't hesitate. Ask it in the comments. It would be our pleasure to answer the questions. Thank you again so much for watching our videos. Take care, have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you next episode.